No greetings, everybody. My name is James. I am from the internet, and today we are going to be talking about corporate propaganda. Now, since the 1970s, people, activist groups, scientists have been ringing the alarm bell about the state of the environment. You know, the thing that provides us with air and water. Yeah, you know, that pesky old environment. Well, it seems that for the last 50 years, the planet has been getting warmer and warmer, and the alarm bells have been ringing louder and louder. And yet, for some reason, even though globally, national leaders, hordes of people, entire continents are talking about and literally begging for an advancement in our energy sources so that we stop polluting the environment, yet for some reason, none of that seems to be taking hold. So I thought maybe I would take a look at an article that would explain how even though we know everything we know, tracking all the statistics for the last 50 years and listening to all the scientists, how all of that messaging is seemingly unactionable and creates no change. I wonder if there's an impediment to progress. Let's find out. Here we go! Pro-fossil fuel Facebook ads were viewed 431 million times in 1 year. For the record, there's a little over 300 million people in the United States of America, which means, on average, literally every single person in the country would have seen one of these ads scrolling through a social media feed at least once in the last year. However, unlike a lot of other usual advertising platforms, Facebook is very unique in so much that it saves every last piece of data on every last user. Now, supposedly they don't sell that data externally to other advertisers. However, what they do is they have a very advanced onboard ad system on their own platform. If you are a business or a politician and you want to get a piece of content out there and you want it to go to a very specific demographic, I don't care what it is, you could want to place an ad that is only seen by 53-year-old Latino men with male pattern baldness who live in a zip code within 20 miles of the city of Phoenix without living in the city of Phoenix. And the Facebook platform and its little ad machine can actually find every single last one of the people that meet your criteria, no matter how granular that criteria is, and provide that message, literally, on the top of their newsfeed every single time they open the app. This, combined with the Cambridge Analytics data, is how Donald Trump ran such an effective voter suppression campaign in 2016. Obviously, the billionaires over in big oil are also aware of the weapon that is the Facebook ad system. Let me show you how that went. Big oil is strategically using Facebook to blitz Americans with a steady stream of messages designed to delay the extinction of fossil fuel use. Pro-fossil fuel ads were viewed more than 431 million times on Facebook's US platforms in 2020 alone. Despite that vast reach, the oil and gas industry spent just $9.6 million on the ads. Now, if you were going to buy $10 million worth of ads on terrestrial TV or even on a wide radio blitz on FM, AM, and satellite radio, you would not get nearly as many viewers, listeners, or impressions as you do with the Facebook system. And if you do your targeted advertising correctly on Facebook, you can literally get injected into the feeds of the exact people you want for pennies every single day. Quote, "The oil and gas industry is using a more sophisticated playbook to undermine climate action, which involves the use of more subtle and nuanced messaging tactics. Out of the 25 organizations studied, the biggest users of paid ads on Facebook's US platforms were ExxonMobil and the American Petroleum Institute, the industry's powerful trade group. Exxon and the API accounted for a staggering 62% of the big oil ads that were analyzed. Now, just a little thing to keep in mind here as we go on. They are not running advertisements like, hey, come to Chevron, our gas is awesome. Or, hey, come to an ExxonMobil place because we have the auto pay with the key fob. That's not what they're talking about here. This is solely ads targeted to specifically blunt climate change activism. Full on propaganda. Ads saying, this is the awesome energy. This is the clean, efficient way. This is so much better than it used to be. Hey, clean air, we love it. They're not spending this money to sell you gas. They're spending this money to make you okay with decade upon decade of more drilling and more gas. Quote, the assertions made are deliberately misleading and completely without merit, Exxon said, in a statement, of course. We believe that sound public policy is achieved when a variety of informed voices participate in the political process. For these reasons, ExxonMobil exercises its right to support and participate in policy discussions. Now, I don't know about the rest of you out there, but I have never participated in policy discussions. It must be because I can't spend billions of dollars to lobby my way into state houses and the U.S. Capitol to literally get into the ear of seated congressional reps. However, ExxonMobil can do that on the daily, and thus it is their right and their freedom of speech to do so. Meanwhile, you, as an average person who lives in this country, well, you have the right to open up Facebook, scroll through your feed, and get deluged with propaganda about how star-spangled awesome natural gas is and how totally none of us are going to die from whatever the fuck it is they've been pumping into the fucking atmosphere for the last century. The American Petroleum Institute said in a statement that its, quote, work to inform the debate is grounded in and validated by government and independent studies. You know, the ones that are funded by ExxonMobil. Our energy literacy posts on social media are a fraction of the robust investments our companies are making every day into breakthrough technological research to shape a lower carbon future. Efforts like methane capture, hydrogen, carbon sequestration, and others, wrote the senior VP at the American Petroleum Institute. Wow, that's a lot of bullshit in one sentence. I think I'm going to do that thing where I pluck through it. Energy literacy posts is how they are defining propaganda. It's funny how the more benign the name is for something, the worse it actually fucking is. Number 2 on the list of things I'm going to point out here is that robust investments into breakthrough technological research means absolutely squat diddly. It means somebody else somewhere has created a system of hydrogen capture or methane capture or some highly efficient fucking way to convert all this waste into useful energy, and ExxonMobil will go out and give them millions of dollars to buy the patent and have them sign away any and all knowledge of it. Then they take it, they go into a back room way in the basement of ExxonMobil that looks like the last minute scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and they go to their ginormous warehouse and they go, and they blow some dust off a shelf and take this newest form of capture and put it on the dust collecting shelf with the last 8,000 fucking patents that they bought and buried. Yeah, that's all the money they're spending on breakthrough technological research. So yeah, people, don't believe the fucking hype. You want to know what a great job the energy companies are doing in reducing carbon emissions? Go outside. The report comes as Facebook remains under pressure for its role in the spread of misinformation, including lies about the 2020 election. It's also just a week after a senior Exxon lobbyist appeared to reveal in an undercover video how the oil company uses its political muscle to undercut climate action. Exxon CEO Darren Woods condemned the action in words and apologized for the comments that were caught on tape. He's not condemning and apologizing for all the other actions that aren't caught on tape. He's merely going, oh, okay, you got us once. Okay, we're sorry. We won't do it again. Yeah, that's about it. And now, rather than just discussing this bullshit, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Quote, Influence Map found a sharp jump in spending on Facebook ads in the United States from fossil fuel groups on July 15, 2020, the day after then-candidate Joe Biden announced his $2 trillion climate plan. Don't worry, people, that shit's not going to happen, just like Medicare for all, legal weed, or anything else you wanted. Remember, Joe looked right in the camera and told you that nothing was going to fundamentally change, and goddamn it, he's a man of his word. Quote, the industry is using social media strategically and deploying its ads at key political moments. The ads avoided outright climate denial. Instead, the messages sought to, quote, prolong the use of oil and gas through more nuanced messaging tactics. Now, don't get it confused, people. All of those patents that ExxonMobil owns for all the advanced energy sources, assuming that the Earth does not burn up into a giant ball of flames and just end up cinder floating through the fucking universe, well, they are planning on getting to those and making trillions of dollars off of those new methods of energy. However, first, they want to make sure they, quote, prolong the use of oil and gas because they have spent billions upon billions of dollars building the infrastructure required to extract all this crap out of the ground. And now that they've paid for all that infrastructure, anything else they dig up at this point is pure profit. So yes, they want to make sure they literally drill, pump, and squeeze every last ounce of fossil fuel out of this floating rock before they convert over to the other energy sources. And they are more than happy to spend tens of millions of dollars to propagandize you into thinking that is an awesome idea. So earlier in the blurb, they said that Biden gave his speech on July 15th of 2020, discussing how he was going to cap emissions and try to clean the planet up by 2035, and that the next day, all of these industries rolled out ads to, soften his message and to make it seem not so convincing. Well, I went into Facebook's ad closet. That's right, they keep all their ads on source, and I want to show you just real quick what it kind of looks like over there. This is the Facebook ad library. This is where every single ad, former and current, is stored. Facebook keeps them on file now for 7 years because, they're constantly accused of allowing corporations and politicians to purchase access to distribute propaganda, and they always let them do it. So instead of fighting, now they just made all the ads public. Here's how many ads ExxonMobil and only ExxonMobil took out the day after the Biden speech. Buckle up, this is going to be a long scroll, people, okay? Do 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 do. Are you starting to get the idea here, people? I'm still scrolling. These are all Facebook ads, and as you can see, every single one of the Facebook ads, they're pumping out 26 different versions of them, only they're demographically putting them out to specific areas and specific people, tweaking the message for every area. If you're in Oklahoma, you get a Facebook ad from ExxonMobil that talks about how the clean energy that is natural gas provides so many people with jobs. Meanwhile, if you live in Louisiana, you get a targeted ad from ExxonMobil reminding you that they are the #1 employer in the state, and so on and so forth. Literally hundreds of messages starting July 16th ended up in people's DM folders and directly into people's news feeds. Oh, look, here's a whole nother batch. All of this directly after Biden gave one speech. This was the initial reaction. And again, if you look, you can see how Facebook breaks down all the demographics. They'll tell you how much you have to spend, how many impressions you're going to get, exactly who is going to see it, where they live, and you can spend more money to specifically target any group by demographic or geography in the Facebook machine, thus making ExxonMobil's job much, much easier. So what does this mean for you, the average viewer? Well, number one, it means your parents and your grandparents are getting heavily propagandized over at Boomer Book on the daily. But again, this is just one platform and one example. And the billions, if not trillions of dollars that big oil has spent since the 70s to propagandize this issue has literally led us to the brink of global collapse. Hopefully, if there is a next time, I will see you then. My name is James, I'm from the internet, and I'm out. Peace.